What's up, guys? Colton Lindsay here with the WGR Live. Coming at you live on my Facebook page where I get to say whatever I want to say, do whatever I want to do, and interview whoever I want to interview. Today, I'm going to interview a dude named Ricky. So I put a suggestion out a little bit ago. Who should I interview? And someone recommended Ricky. So I get to talking to him. This guy is on track. Next month, he will hit over $1 million in gross commission income. Looks like he just popped in, so I'll have you coming in 1 second. Awesome. He is the #1 agent for ReMax in the state of Alabama and host of a pretty awesome podcast, it sounds like. So I'm going to get him on the line here just a second. Make sure if you have buyers or sellers in the state of Utah, send them over to the WGR Real Estate Sales Team. Looking to take your real estate sales business to another level? Go to fearlessagent.com. And also, if you want to manage your cash flow, we're going to be releasing the Financial Freedom Nation Boot Camp coming up soon. So make sure to send me a message because there is no more Jumpstart program. You missed that if you didn't get signed in by Saturday. All right, let's get my man Ricky on. Here we go. Sending the invitation. Now, this guy, whenever you're talking to someone earning $1 million in business revenue per year, you know that you're tapping into someone that's doing something different than the average guy. So let's see if his invitation goes through. And make sure, as we're waiting for his invitation to go through, that you click that like, comment, and share button and give me some reactions. Give me some thumbs up if you would be okay with earning $1 million a year. Give me some angry faces if you are not excited about earning $1 million a year. Those reactions came pretty quickly, so either you guys were giving me reactions already or, man, this is lightning speed. Here we go. Ricky, you're on, man. Can you see me?
What's happening, guys? How we doing?
Hey, man, thanks for being on. So really quickly, do me a favor and ask these guys watching to hit the share button. Ask them just to share it to any friends that want to learn from you today.
Oh, for sure, guys. Y'all need to be sharing this so we can get the word out for, like how to actually succeed in real estate other than everything else you hear. Like, share this so that it'll help somebody today.
Awesome. Cool. So in 60 seconds or less, Ricky, give a background of where you're from and how you got to where you're at today.
Okay, cool, guys. I was born in Alabama. You know, nobody knows Alabama has some of the most beautiful beaches in the world. So I grew up in Gulf Shores, Alabama, which has white powder sands. So I grew up as a roofer, roofing houses with my father. I got in real estate when I was 20. It was 2002. Never had any money before. By the time I was 23, I was a millionaire. By the time I was 25, I was dead broke and bankrupt, living on friends' couches. And had to fight my way back to figure out actually how to really build an actual business. And, went and worked on oil rig, roofed houses again. And then from there, just kind of everything I learned through the crash, I just implemented it. You know, I'm one of these guys that you teach me something one time and I got it. And it's the same thing with, when I make mistakes, lessons learned. I'm always progressing. So I just took everything I learned in the crash and, I got back in real estate in 2008. And ever since then, it's just been nothing but, to the sky. I'm still trying to strive to get better and better every day.
So you had become a millionaire by the age of 23, is that what you said?
Yep.
And then by 25, you lost it all. So what happened between 23 and 25 that devastated it?
The market crashed. I over leveraged. The same story you hear from everybody that the crash, no matter how. When I got in real estate, realistic market, I could call 10 condo owners, find somebody that wanted to sell to make $100,000, and of course you're going to find somebody. So we would do the deal. I would list it and sell it, and then we went our separate ways. There was no relationship put in place for the future. So I was making a lot of money, but I wasn't securing relationships for future business and referrals and past clients and stuff like that. So when the market crashed, not only did I over leverage, but I didn't build my business correctly. And so I crashed. And so it took me going through that to learn the real do's and don'ts and how to build a huge business for the future.
So what year was that it crashed and that you were over leveraged?
'05 is really when it started to really go downhill
Okay.
for me.
So
Uh,
for those watching, explain, what do you mean by you were over leveraged? And you were 25 at the time. So what were you over leveraging yourself on?
well, there's two ways to go there. I was over leveraged in every way possible. I bought a bunch of stuff I didn't need to buy, like houses and cars. And then I had about 2 million or so in debt of properties I was buying and flipping. So I bought a bunch of stuff I didn't need, and I also bought a bunch of property I really didn't need. But I thought I was doing the right thing. Like I thought, buying property and stuff, and it is, but you have to do it the correct way. And coming from a background of not having any money, I didn't know what to do when I was making all that money. I just did what I thought was right, which was wrong. And so, there was two ways I was over leveraged. I had too many toys, and I had too many loans on properties.
So if you were to go back to your 25-year-old self, 23 to actually go 23-year-old self, got all that money, what would you have done differently versus what you did do?
Well, like as a side note, I wouldn't tell my 25-year-old self not to do anything differently because of what happened is why I'm where I'm at. But if I knew if I knew then what I know now, I would have bought less properties and paid cash or borrowed very little money. Like right now, I have maybe 10 properties or so, and I owe about 100,000 on about 10 properties. So my equity is probably, I don't know what equity I have, maybe 800,000 in equity with only about 100,000 in loans on those properties. And then as far as don't over leverage, I have a lot of cash I'm sitting on, and continue working, but on the business side, it's all about the relationships. So I think wiser investing and building your business, focused around relationships. See, I was always worried about the deal. I thought that's what you were supposed to do, is try to make deals happen, and you are, but it's more so about when the client's ready and that, you've become their best friend and you just happen to be a realtor.
Yeah. It seems like, especially when I first got in the business in 2005, Mike Ferry was the rage through the 90s and in the early 2000s. And it was just like, hey, let's get the deal. Let's get the contract signed. And for a little bit, I had burned through clients myself just by getting contracts signed. For sell by owners, I sold over 40 in 1 year, and I only did business with maybe, 5 or 6 of them beyond that, right? It wasn't relationship based. So what have you done to shift to more focus on relationships since 2005?
Well, it's a mindset. It's not necessarily like I always cold called, I always did mail outs, I always do emails. I mean, I haven't changed any of the fundamental actions I'm taking. I've just changed my mindset from I'm trying to figure out how to do a deal with this person to how can I make this person feel comfortable with me, and how can I make this person like me as a person. It's more of a mindset change than a fundamental actions change.
One of the questions I always have my team ask, and I'm always asking in our stand-up meeting, is what can we do to go create value for our people, right? Like, it's all about servicing others. It doesn't even matter. It could be someone at the checkout stand of the bank, or it could be at the grocery store, it could be a customer, it could be somebody as a past client, right? Serving those people. So fast forward, now where are you at? 2017, we're coming up to we're in the fourth quarter now. Congratulations, by the way. You said this month, is it this month you'll be breaking the $1 million GCI mark, or is that next month?
Yeah, October, this month.
And that's the first time you've ever done that. Is that right?
First time I ever did it.
Awesome. Congratulations. So as you look to finish up the year, obviously above $1 million in GCI, what does that take your mind to see what's possible for 2018?
Nowhere. I don't look at the numbers or I wouldn't be here. I'm always like, I have an analogy about keeping my cup full, right?
Yeah.
Like my cup represents how much I can handle.
Yeah.
I want to keep that sucker full. I want more than I can handle on my plate at all times. If I'm less than that, then I'm not going to reach my full potential. So I don't necessarily focus on the results or that I'm going to make 2 million next year or I'm going to sell 300 properties. I'm more concerned with doing every single thing I can do to help as many people as I can help every single day, and maximizing how many people I can help and how I can get the word out about the fact that I actually care about people. So how can I, show the world, and more particularly my specific market, how much I actually care about people, and I'm not out for the deal, but I actually want to help them with whatever their goals are in terms of they want to buy a new house because, their daughter just went to college and they need to downsize, or their mom just died and they need to sell the house, or they got a new job so they need to sell here and buy 3 hours away. I want to help them achieve those goals, that underlying, life goals that they have going on, that's bringing up the fact that they need to buy or sell something.
Awesome. So as you shifted, obviously you're like, hey, keep my cup full. How can I serve others? How can I create value for others so that when buy and sell pops up, I'm the guy that everyone thinks about. How has your branding, because obviously sales is different than marketing and branding, how has your marketing and branding shifted the last 5 years as technology shifted?
Well, to be honest with you, I didn't start using social media till this year.
Okay.
January this year was when I really got my hands dirty because I never used it. Everything I've done has been focused around circle prospecting, emails, postcards, letters, phone calls, and just taking care of people. And so, if you look at a lot of my, like, if you pull up my Zillow reviews, there's nothing there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not. I've never been the online guy, the social guy, and the social media guy, and all that stuff. But this year, I really said, okay, I need to. This is a for real thing. I need to step my game up there. So, nothing has really changed in the last 5 years until January, and that's where I started using social media. Created a business page. So it takes a lot of time away from other things, right? Like when you first start doing social media, you find yourself on your phone a lot more, posting pictures and doing stuff like that. You're working, but you're taking time away from all these other activities that have been so successful for me. And so it in the beginning, it's kind of scary.
Yeah.
To take time away from things that actually have been working so good for you, but you have to. It's just like making phone calls. A lot of people are scared to make phone calls. You have to go through that. You have to bust through that fear to get to the other side where you realize that it's worth it.
Yep.
It's the same thing with social media stealing time away from you. As long as you're not surfing social media, and spying on your friends and all that stuff, and actually working on social media to try to build a brand, and you just have to break through that. So that's been a thing for me this year. But I'm starting to settle into my zone of, it's okay to spend time there because it's working. I've maybe I've sold a handful of properties this year and gotten hella publicity. Like my brand has really benefited, and it's going to continue to benefit, year over year from social media. So, I don't know. I guess that answers your question.
So let me ask. So you're heavy. You've added in social media this year, but you haven't taken away what you were doing. Is that right? You just added social media to the mix.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Which is tough for a lot of people, because, a lot of people can only handle so much. But, I'm a single agent. I don't have a team of people, right? It's just me. I have an assistant, but she handles all the processing of deals and MLS stuff and listings. And I mean, all the regular administrative stuff, all the real true marketing ideas and marketing work is done by me. So it can be tough, but it's really something you have to do because Facebook's cheap. You can get to so many people in your area, for very cheap. And to me, I don't know what, I don't know anything about you guys or what you teach and stuff, but I feel like Facebook is to me a lot more for
Yep.
branding. As opposed to just trying to get people to list or trying to get people to buy. And it's more like branding, I'm here if you need something. Same way I've really started to build my business after the crash.
Yeah.
That's how I handle people in real life too.
Awesome. So yeah, my take on social media is simple. I think there's two ways to really target social media. One is you can directly surf for leads, which is you're going to get colder leads, people that don't know who you are, lead capture type thing. Well, that's one way. I think that's easier to monitor your return on investment that way. I don't do it that way. The other way that I focus on, I think, is a lot like you in the sense of we brand ourselves in front of the people that know us and like us and trust us, and we continue to make sure we're in front of people, right? We're light years ahead of our local market when it comes to social media, and it doesn't necessarily someone types in because they saw this video and they want to buy with me or sell with me, but it's because they saw every one of my videos, or they saw my name pop up all the time, or they saw our sales, the WGR sales team in front of them, through postcards, through email, through phone calls, through AdWords, Google remarketing AdWords, as we follow them around the internet, right? It's about staying in front of them, because right now, and maybe you've noticed this, and we can talk about this, is there is an amazing amount of information flowing through the internet right now. And so this affects us two ways. Number one is it's affecting us, it's clogging our system if we're surfing it, if we're consuming it, if we're wasting time on it. But number two is our customers, the people we're branding in front of, are getting splashed with so much information. We've got to stay ahead of the patterns and disrupt those patterns. So let's talk about that. What are you specifically doing to protect yourself from being bombarded with all the information that's coming on social media to still be there but not get bogged down from it?
You mean like as I'm looking at social media, things distracting me?
Correct. How do you stay in being the producer versus the consumer?
I'm so producer minded. Like, I'm just so focused. There's only one thing that's on my mind all day, and that's getting better, producing. The stuff that I consume, I'm subscribed to a few YouTube channels, I'll watch a little here and there at whenever I need to. It's not like whenever I'm working on my Facebook page and I see an ad, I don't even see that stuff. It's almost just, it's just not even there. It's a funny thing, like seat belts, the seatbelt dinger, when you don't wear your seatbelt, I don't hear that. And I'll ride with somebody or have somebody in my truck that it drives them crazy. And they're like, you don't hear that? And I'm like, no, I don't hear it, because my mind is so focused all the time. Same thing with the ads. I just don't pay them any attention. I have I don't need anything. Like if somebody's trying to sell me something, it's like, I don't need it. When I need it, then I'll go find it, kind of thing. So I don't know. A lot of people don't like all the ads. And I talked to a lady the other day. She's like, I don't even get on Facebook anymore. All the ads and this and that. And, I just don't pay attention to it. So, to answer your question, I'm just super focused.
Super focused, and that means you have a burning desire, a hunger to do a specific thing. What is it that you're most hungry for right now?
Well, really a lot of things, but legacy has really been on my mind a lot because, I've worked so hard and so long, and it's been my dream to make $1 million in a year. I made 750 last year, 600 the year before, 600 the year before that. I've steadily climbed up, and really, when you want something so bad and then you finally get there, then you realize that this isn't as, grand as you thought it was going to be, right? So now that I've accomplished a lot of the financial things I want to accomplish, now there's huge financial things I want to accomplish, of course, but now I'm seeing the other side of it. The side that's not money related. which is legacy. Like, how do people think about you? What are they going to say when you're gone? What did you leave behind? I don't have
Yeah.
kids yet, but those are the kind of things that's big on my mind right now.
Think about this. I was thinking about this a few months ago. What if you could go back and watch your grandpa or your great grandpa's YouTube channel, right, and see some of his old things? How freaking cool would that be for his posterity? And we're one of the first, even us is to the tail end of that. I started YouTube in 2010 or 11. So I think at the time, what was I, 7 years ago, 26 years old or something like that. So even for the first quarter of my, 25 years of my life is not recorded. But going forward, how cool is that our grandkids and great grandkids and great great grandkids are going to be able to look back and say, wow, look at that weird fucking suit that Colton was wearing in his videos, right? Like, it's a really cool concept when you think of it. And to touch on what you're talking about, so I'll probably be between 700 and 750 this year. My target, I want to get to that $1 million like you next year. I'm really excited about it. But I've learned there's this science of success, right? This achievement, the ability to financially grow and succeed, whether it's health, whether it's finances. There's a science, an A plus B equals C sort of thing, right? But there's that other part that I think you're touching on, and it's more of the art of fulfillment, right? Like, okay, what am I even doing here? What's the imprint, the footprint that I'm leaving here? So how long you've been contemplating this question that you're shifting just from the science of success to also this fulfillment? How long have you been working on this?
To be honest, since I was born, right? Like I knew from day one, it's all about helping people. That's just how I am. So, but I would say there's been a shift, like it's always been there. Like I've always realized helping people. But when the market was booming, when I just got in real estate, I didn't realize how real estate was actually sold.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that's how you did it, call 10 people, make 20 grand and never talk to them again. Like I thought that's how it was done. And so I got caught up in that.
Yeah.
But I got in the reason I got in real estate in the first place was to help people. And my thought was first-time home buyers. Right, so I got in real estate, and after the first 2 or 3 first-time home buyers, I said, I don't think I want to help first-time home buyers anymore, because it's such a draining process. So I said, it takes so much time to deal with a first-time home buyer. I could spend, this time instead of helping this one person, even though they need my help, I could actually spend that same time and help 10 people.
Yeah.
Doing other things other than first-time home buying and stuff like that. So it's always been there, but it's grown. Every year my income goes up higher, which is every year it grows more and more and more. The more money I make, the more the desire to help people is. So, I think, the more the amount of people you help, equals how successful you are. And I just think that's the bottom line.
So are you talking, I get the vibration you're sending out. Like my whole purpose is who can I go create value for? Who can I help go to a heightened state of emotion today to feel just a little bit better, right? That's really what it boils down to, serving others. So is it particularly buyers and sellers you're focused on and helping, or is it just anyone, or how are you helping people on a large scale?
It's everybody, man. Buyers and sellers in my market is huge. My market, I'm in small town Alabama, but there's a lot of condos here on the beach. A lot of condos. There's no way I could talk to all of them and help all of them. There's too many of them. Yeah. So it's endless. So I haven't, my journey involves a lot based on the property owners, in my area, helping them, whatever it is that they may want to do. On a larger scale, I think that my story and how I conduct my business and all that stuff can help agents. Hearing everything I've went through, learning my philosophies are based around relationships and lifelong, goals instead of let's just do a deal today. I think that's going to help agents.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I think this idea of relationships is huge in the sense. I know Gary Vee's talked a lot about it lately in the sense of we're seeing more and more barter type of trade happening, right? Like this idea of money, I think is becoming more and more aware to people that it's just some digits on a screen or in the out there in the digital world, but the relationship that you can create and that you can maintain and that you can create value for. Now we're starting to see things literally manifest out of, it seems like thin air, at least in my experience. Maybe I'm the only one experiencing that, but almost has nothing to do with money, but has everything to do with what value you're creating. So what are some of the ways that you are looking to expand the way that you're creating value? I know you mentioned you've got your podcast. I assume that has something to do with it. And talk to us about that a little bit.
well, I'm doing a YouTube show. It's Ricky Carruth, The Daily Grind Show. It's on YouTube. But basically, my videographer Blake follows me around every day and puts everything I do on YouTube. He edits it with music, and it's really cool and all that stuff. We're on like episode 20 something. So, what was the question?
How do you hope to help people through your podcast and create value for them?
Oh, yeah. Like people that watch it, like it helps me, like agents that see it, they see what the grind really is, that it's not as glorious as they think it is, and that I probably outwork them. Even though I'm at $1 million a year, I'm probably outworking them.
Yeah.
Like the work never stops. Like it doesn't, you don't get to $1 million or $500,000 and then you can slow down a little bit. You actually have to start grinding even harder at that point. So it helps them realize that it's real, that this isn't something that, you can slow down at some point. You actually have to speed up. And on the other side of it, my clients, they also see how hard I work. So it inspires both sides of it.
So I talk about this recently in the idea of chaos management, right? As my business has grown with our sales business, with our online business, you have to have great people, at least like your videographer, right? Like you couldn't do it without him. You have to start to enroll these types of people. So with this being said, how do you manage the chaos of more and more stuff filling up your cup and overflowing? What do you do to manage that chaos?
Yeah. I'm a little different when it comes to managing. I don't worry about it. I think a lot of people, they slow down and it really bogs them up because they're worried about every little thing. They want to get everything just right before they do something, or in the middle of the process, they run into a snag and they worry about it. And then they worry if if there's something they were supposed to do that they didn't do. People worry too much. And I have a real gift of not worrying at all. There's a lot of stuff on my desk that a lot of people would go crazy over, and I'm not even reading it. I'm not even looking at it because I'm too focused on moving forward. So to like, that's literally how I handle it, man. Is I just don't worry about all the little stuff. I have a real gift of knowing what matters and what doesn't matter. And, I just don't worry.
I think that's the secret to life is when is don't worry, right? Like if you go back, like you could tell your 20-year-old self some advice, it'd probably be like, dude, just don't worry. It all turns out okay. Just keep going, keep hustling, keep doing your thing, keep serving others, keep creating value. And for me, it's funny because I grew up as a worrier, dude. Like my parents were worriers and my grandpa was a worrier. Like it was a worrying thing, right? And what I realized is that when I worry or when I go to anxiety or go to frustration or to impatience or whatever this is, it's usually because I choose it, right? Like it's always because it's a choice. We get to choose whether we worry or whether we just are full of enthusiasm and like, fuck it, let's go for it. Let's make the best of it, right? There's going to be experiences. Embrace them. Doesn't matter if they're good or bad, they're experiences. Embrace them. So tell us about a little bit more about the podcast. Is it just you in the behind the scenes of your day-to-day life? Is it like vlog style? What style is your podcast?
It's vlog. It's a vlog on YouTube. I put it on Facebook as well, but it's behind the scenes, man. I mean, Anybody can go to YouTube and check it out. I'm at the beach. I'm meeting sellers. I'm meeting buyers. I'm having calls. I'm, running through my day, showing property, listing appointments. I got Blake right here.
What's up, Blake?
Right now. So, we'll shoot for maybe 2 or 3 days a week. We put out 2 episodes a week, and we'll just see where it goes. Of course, I got the idea from Gary Vee. I love what he does, and so I just decided to do it myself. We've been at it for about 12 weeks now, and everybody loves it. So it's just a way to show everybody what a top producing agent does every day, what they really do, as opposed to, like I did a video about me losing a $1.2 million listing. That was one of my videos. I think a lot of the top guys, they don't talk about the losses, and it creates a image that everything they do just turns to gold, and every deal they try to go after works out great. I like to show both sides of it, like that I'm out here doing the same thing you guys are doing, wondering where my next deal's coming from, where my next listing's coming from. I'm losing deals left and right, and this is how you handle it. You don't worry about it. I think we're just talking about that.
It's life is a lot like negotiations, right? You have to care, but not that much, right? Like when you care too much, right, you get sucked down the rabbit hole, right? So I think it's,
you have to know what to care about and what not to care about,
Yeah, and that
some people are good at knowing what to care about, and some people, they worry about the wrong things.
That's priority management, right? First of all, get clear on your priorities. Second of all, schedule those priorities. It's not about prioritizing the schedule, but getting clear on what's important to me and what do I want to execute on, and everything else is just fog. It's just in my way, right? So, and I think it's cool what you're doing, because I've ran into this situation as we've created our online presence and our social media through YouTube. Is it's really challenging to determine the return on the investment, right? Like you hire Blake following you around all day, and that's a challenge. So how do you work through that on the business side, where you can't really monitor super well what your return on your investment is into that social media and with Blake and what you're working on?
That's the new age, man. That's the new world order, man. You have to be willing to lose some time and money in order to, you have to see the big picture. A lot of people are not willing to lose time and money. They're too scared to lose time and money, but you have to invest time and money into something that you feel like is going to be big later. So if I have $1 million a year real estate business, and probably not even close to half of my market knows who I am, and I'm at $1 million, what can I do long term to invest in people getting to know who I am? And so this is how I do it. And so it's long term. It's like putting money in the stock market now in an IRA or a 401k or whatever, and you can't touch it till you're 63 or whatever the age is. That's not getting an ROI for you tomorrow. That's when you're in your 60s. So it's kind of the same thing. You're putting money and time into into future development. And so you just have to wrap your head around that and understand that this is the new world that we live in. If you're not on these platforms, then you're not going to be relevant. And that's becoming more and more true.
Yeah, I totally agree. In fact, it's so hard to measure that ROI. I mean, I can look at what money we generate directly from our internet business, and that's about it. And I know the cost of bringing in a social media director, of having videography done. It's not inexpensive. It's not cheap. So you definitely have to go all in and say, you know what, I'm going for it. But I believe, and I'm glad you're on this topic, because I believe if you as a business owner are not making this investment now in your business, you will fall behind and go to the sidelines in not only today's business, but into the future, especially into the future, because you've got to be able to get your message out to vibrate and connect with those people. that are looking, that people are looking for you, right? People are looking for Ricky and what he's talking about and what energy he's bringing, and there's people attracting to that. And it's not by chance, it's not by accident, it's about purpose. It's about, listen, I have a reason to be here and I'm going to go deliver on that reason. That's simple. So where do you got?
Let me add that, Colton.
Yeah.
Well, I was just going to say, because I know a lot of realtors are watching this, I think we're also, the pendulum may be swinging way too far to that direction, though. You know, I think realtors are dependent too much on the social and online, because of just I mean the way I see it, we have like 1/3 of the realtors out there are new within the last 2 years. We have a lot of new agents in the market that don't really have direction, and they're getting all this online stuff, and they're part of the millennial group, so they're already online, and they feel like that's the way to go and all that stuff, and it is. But there's no closing without a conversation.
So true.
I don't care where the lead comes from, or if you're doing online leads, Facebook leads for sell by owners, expires, circle prospect. I don't care where the lead comes from. You got probably less than 1% of deals that happen that have no conversation. So conversation is the common denominator. Now I'm gonna go in left field for a second. You could take out social media. Like I said, I just started in January, and I was headed to $1 million this year, regardless if I started or not, because I've only done about 5 deals off of social media, and I'm gonna do like 1.2. So the 5 deals weren't gonna be the make it or break it for me on social media. Okay. But I think the social media thing is going to play big for me, you know, in the future. But it didn't get me where I'm at. And so I want everybody to understand that conversation is where the closings are, not social media. You need social media to help build your brand, but if you're not talking to people, you're not going to have closings. So when I realized that, it's like, okay, if that's the common denominator, I need to talk to as many people as I can talk to have as many closings as I can possibly have. That's the bottom line. So I wanted to say that, because I don't want people to feel like they can just rest on social media or their online presence.
Well, I think it's all in communication. How do you get better at communicating through a conversation, to set an appointment, to give a presentation, to sign a contract, to move them to the escrow? And really, branding is part of it. Sales is a whole other thing. And I teach 2 things. I teach the idea of the confused NLP, which to me is just a study of our linguistics, of how we communicate, how we receive information. And then I think the other side of that is what I call digital linguistic programming. How do we communicate digitally? How do we receive digitally, so that we're moving people down a funnel to be able to create value for them through what I can create value? Because, right, for example, I don't know about you, if someone reaches out to you about fixing their plumbing issues, you're probably not the guy to help with that, but you can probably set them in the right place. Is that right? Right? It's like, I can't help everyone with all their problems, but I can help a lot of people with the gifts that I've been given with my skill set around real estate, around sales, around communication, around financial management. And it's being clear on what your gifts are so you can deliver and get really great at communicating that message. Awesome, man. So what's the one thing you've got to do to leverage yourself to grow even more? How can you leverage yourself next?
Well, it's a good question, man, because it's always a work in progress. It's not like one thing, or I'm going to do this one thing differently. It's like a little by little, every day I get better and better. And so I think the biggest thing is don't, since now I'm going to make $1 million, it's like,
and it froze. That means you got a phone call.
You there?
Yeah, you got a phone call. It's all right.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, I think the biggest thing is, now that I've made my milestone of $1 million, it's to not slow down as far as trying to grow personally. You know, just continuing to learn and find the next step. Like last night, I was on YouTube all night trying to hack YouTube, like trying to figure out like how do you grow a YouTube channel, you know, because you know, like I figured Facebook out, you know, I'm working on Instagram, but you know, it's like there's always something to learn, some new step, you know, and it's the same like before I got into social media. It was like, How do I contact more owners? What do I tell them?
Yeah.
You know, how do I secure more listings? There's always, it's curiosity.
Yeah.
I think is the one thing that's going to continue to help me grow and grow and grow, is just how curious I am of what the next step is and how to do it.
One thing that I maybe can help you out with is with your YouTube, it's not necessarily the number of subscribers you have, it's the number of subscribers in your niche target, right? What are your key customers that you're looking to have? And that's what's been huge for me. I know a lot of people that have way more subscribers than me online, yet they can't seem to monetize it. They can't make money from it, right? And at the end of the day, is we got to have a successful business, you got to bring cash flow in. You got to manage that cash flow. If you're not bringing cash flow in, then you're wasting time, right? So I would get really clear on who your target market is, and that will help. And then the other thing is, get in touch with Brian Casella, because I have watched that kid go from a brand new YouTube channel, great mastermind friend of mine, to 50,000 subscribers in just a couple of years. It does help. He has an awesome Lamborghini, so maybe that's what you should invest in, is a Lamborghini here next. But yeah, that was my advice, is find out what your target market is. Awesome, man. Maybe you could help me out. What advice would you give me? Because here I am, just under, $250,000, $300,000 from hitting the $1 million number this year. Really want to go to that level next year. What advice could you give to me? Because I feel like I might be kind of where you were financially about this time last year.
Do you have a team?
Yes, I do have a team now. Yes.
How many people, and what do they do?
So I have 2 senior sales agents. I have administrative staff, and I have a social media director, because I focus more on my online business, my online presence now. And so that's it. I just barely hired 2 new junior agents about a month ago to start working them up to senior agents. So I personally am not selling more than maybe a dozen houses a year anymore.
Right. Do you have like a listing agent?
Yep.
That does like your listings?
Yep.
What's your listing to buyer ratio?
So we're about 65% sellers, 35% buyers this year.
Okay, it's not bad. I'm at 70, so that's not too far off. What is your listing guy? Is he specifically for listings, or do both your agents do both?
Yeah, so my philosophy has been, hey, let's get contracts signed, but let's make a focus on getting sellers signed. I don't care who it is. No one's more special than the other guy. We train on attacking and going after sellers. And then if buyers come our way, then we're going to work with them.
So how do you get your sellers?
So our sellers come from 70% of our business comes from referral, repeat, past clients, sphere of influence, things like that. And then the other about 20% comes from home value leads that we build up into kind of a long-term nurturing process. And then the rest comes from just sign calls and maybe some FSBOs and some expireds.
Yeah. Well, the first thing I tell people on like the past clients, referrals, sphere of influence stuff, to me, that stuff is maintaining mode.
Yeah.
Like whenever you quit going after new business and you just rest on your sphere of influence, referrals, past clients, if you get up to 100,000 and then you do that, you'll probably make 100,000 from then on out.
Yeah.
200, probably stay at 200. So that's your maintenance, like that's your foundation though.
Yeah.
And so every time you do a new deal, they get thrown into that. And so your sphere of influence, your sphere of past clients and referrals grows. And so you've got to keep in touch with those guys and nurture those and keep growing that thing bigger and bigger and bigger, to where when you get to 1 million or 2 million, and you do want to do other things, you can rest on your sphere of influence and you're still making, $1 million or whatever the case may be. On the new business side, everything I do is focused around cold calls. I literally call owners and say, what can I do for you? I sold this, or this sold, what can I do for you? And then I start a conversation and nurture that into a lifelong relationship where I stay in touch forever. So, I don't know exactly how that home thing works that you're talking about. And everything. I don't know how many leads. I don't know the quality of them and stuff like that.
Basically, my philosophy is whether it's people either reach out to us thinking of selling their home, or they want information about their value, and we're cold calling, and it's to identify someone that may be thinking of buying or selling and making that move in the next 12 months. And then if they're doing something now, awesome, but it's then to put them into what I call our people farm, which is basically we're nurturing them until they're ready to rock and roll. and we just go over and meet with them, right? So I've shifted my model from being FSBO and expired heavy, and because those are a grind, man, versus just building these relationships that when they are ready, we go over, we consult with them, they trust us, they naturally sign the contract, and they trust our process, right? So it's a way for us to find people that are thinking about it sooner than just cold calling. So we do both of those.
So when you say 750 or whatever, that's your team, right?
Yeah, that's total paid revenue to my business, Ripley Inc., which is that doesn't matter, but paid into my business. That doesn't count all of what the commission's going out to all of the sales agents as well.
Okay, two things. One, you're going to hit $1 million next year.
Sweet.
Okay, that's the natural progression of it, because you know you just people can't just like wake up and make $1 million. Like, you don't get in real estate and sell 100 properties a year your second year in business. It's progression, right? And it's like everybody's always looking for the next step, but once you figure it out to a level that me and you have, it's just a matter of time before you get where you want to be.
So staying focused.
It's just a matter of time.
Staying focused on just keep churning that wheel.
That's one thing. Okay. The other thing that I would suggest would be that, and I don't know your agents, I don't know how they work, I don't know how how everything is put together, but if there's any downtime, like I don't know how often the leads come in and how much work effort goes behind like nurturing the leads and maintaining the leads and staying in touch with them, but if there's any downtime that needs to be filled up with something focused around getting more listings, which to me would be to call property owners. But you guys may not be, that may not be your thing, but it needs to be something that fills up. You know, you need to keep that cup full. You know, if there's any downtime, you need to fill it up with something revolved around, you know, property owners.
Typically our schedule's from 8 to 11:30 on the phone, starting with our warmer leads first, working out to our colder leads, and then shooting for appointments at 3 o'clock and 5 o'clock. And if we don't have those, then back towards generating more phone calls to find those leads and those potential clients. Focus more on sellers,
Let's stay in touch.
Sellers versus the buyers.
Let's stay in touch, because this time next year I want to see you post that big $1 million, that we hit $1 million, because I guarantee you it's going to happen.
Sweet, man. Well, I appreciate you. Anything you want to say to these guys watching, or how can people most easily connect with you?
You know, subscribe to my YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, whatever you want to do there. I would say that you have to believe in yourself. Like, you have to believe that you can do it. When I first started, you know, I told a guy, I made like 20 grand my first year, and the next year I said, I'm going to make 150. And the guy said, nah, you'll probably do about 70. And I was like, okay, I'm going to show you. And the next year I made like 200. And so it was all focused around the fact that I believed I could do it. But then everybody believes, right? Everybody believes. But then believing it to a point that you actually take the action that you need to take to make it happen. So, like, I'm going to hit $1 million this year because I believed I could do it. And I believe I can go way higher. Like, there's all kinds of thoughts in my mind from here. But it's all about mindset and believing, and then the work ethic that goes behind actually getting there. So I would say, don't be scared to make calls. Don't be scared to talk to people. Don't be scared to lose money and time. You know, just do it, and believe in yourself and work hard.
Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you being on here today. Anything I can do to support you, just let me know. And it's great learning from you. So keep on rocking it.
Thanks for having me on, bro. I enjoyed it.
All right, guys, there we have it. Ricky, man, just hitting the $1 million mark for the first time in his career in the month of October. That's super cool. I think it's interesting to understand, though, that he said his first year in real estate, he made $20,000. So he started in 2002 or 2003, if I heard him correctly. So that's over a 14-year progression, right? 14 years of continually progressing. And not only did he hit become a millionaire by the age of 25, but he lost it all as well because of a couple of things, and I think that we can learn from this. Number one was cash flow management. He got way over leveraged on bad debt, bad investments. So as we're starting to see a shift, we're in a 9-year bull market with the stock market, with the real estate market. We're on fire. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when the market crashes. What are you doing ahead of time to prepare? How are you managing your cash flow? That's the exact reason we started Financial Freedom Nation. If you want to learn more about that, send me a message. But continually focusing on believing yourself. A great friend of mine, Wayne Solomons over at the Hero Nation, talks about this, right? Talks about becoming your own hero. If you're not going to believe in yourself more than anyone else, then who the hell is, right? It's this idea of what I've talked about for years is being your #1 fan. I've got to believe in myself more than anyone else, that I'm willing to get up out of bed even when my kid was crying all night long, blew up, threw up blueberries all over the middle of the bed, whatever, and I didn't get very much sleep, and I still get out of bed so excited, just like Christmas morning, just happy for all the gifts, happy for all the opportunities, all the presents. I have to choose that. And if I am frustrated, if I am full of doubt, if I'm full of impatience, if I'm full of worry and anxiety and fear and all these feelings and these emotions that are negative that I know y'all fear because you bring them up to me, I've experienced them myself, I've got a choice to stay there or to move up, to elevate to a feel-good zone, to raise myself on the emotional guidance scale, okay? It does not matter if you make $1 million and you feel miserable. It matters how you feel right here. If you are miserable every single day, if you're full of fear, full of worry, full of doubt, full of anxiety, it's going to be a miserable life. Whether you're rich or poor, it does not matter. So let's get that art of fulfillment. Let's raise ourselves up. And he shared the biggest secret that I believe is behind increasing your emotional guidance scale, increasing that vibration to happiness, excitement, enthusiasm, passion, tranquility, peace. It's through serving other people. Who can you go create value today? And I hope that you can help me use this video to create value for someone else by hitting that share button. Give me some reactions if this created any value for you at all, right? Give me some thumbs up, some hearts. If you're watching this recorded either on my podcast or on my YouTube channel, click that subscribe button right now. Like, comment, and share. And if you guys are looking to drive your real estate sales business to a next level, especially via cold calling, as you just learned from Ricky, the #1 way to get business is through conversation. You cannot get an appointment without talking with people, having a dialogue about it. That's exactly what we teach inside of Fearless Agent. Go to fearlessagent.com, sign up for Fearless Agent coaching and training immediately. Also, if you're looking to manage your cash flow so you don't make a mistake when the market crashes, when it shifts, when it starts sucking you from above, make sure you go to financialfreedomnation.com and learn how to manage your cash flow. It's not about being able to manage $1 million when you get it. It's about managing $1 now, because if you can't manage $1 today, you're never going to be able to manage $1 million. Appreciate you guys being on here. I was going to see if I had any questions. I kind of skimmed through most of those today. Awesome. We had a bunch of people. So we did have a question. What's the price to pay for a social media director? Think about this. What value are they going to bring? I look at them as almost another addition to our administrative department. Although they're not going to add the admin, they are going to take care of the process to market. And we use our gal not just to do social media, but also make sure our postcards are ordered, make sure our emails are going out, which is part of social media, make sure that we're lined up on our next client appreciation event coming up October 23rd, which if you're a buyer or seller in Utah or you know me through real estate, you want to come to that, let me know. We'll get you some free tickets to the Black Island Farms, right? So I think that's the question you got to ask. But right now, really, really important, David, because I know you're in Financial Freedom Nation, you follow me a lot, is make sure you're having those conversations and you've created a system to start building your social media. It doesn't need to go balls to the wall like me or maybe Ricky or Joshua Smith or what we're doing with Fearless Agent or even Gary Vee or Grant Cardone. It doesn't need to be that big, but there needs to be a presence there. And with time, you can add more and more steps into it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of this. Hit that share button, and we'll see you later.